Okay, thank you for joining. We are even waiting for our chairman. I don't know where chairman has run to. Thank you, everyone. I think we need to start because it's 20 minutes past 8, right? So yeah, I don't know. You know, our people, everything is African man time, and oh, they want to and all that. So let's just start. So it's good to see you after several years. It's good to see. Once in a while, we should do something like this and see one another. Okay, so the hello. How is your family now? How is that side? Okay. So the chairman reached out to me and talked about us having that I should pick one topic and handle. Well, as one teacher concerned, that thing they had me. I said, okay, no, I've done this before. Let somebody else. He said, okay, I should just take. I said, I've done business before. Okay, let me take up the one of healthy relationships because it's becoming an epidemic in the whole wide world. And some people are trapped in unhealthy relationships. Some people don't even know about it. I don't know where this crack is coming from. Let me see. Maybe I have to mute some people. Let me mute this guy. I think it's coming from there. Let me see who is coming from. I don't know whether I'm going to have data to join. I don't know. Data to join. How much is the data now? I don't know. Forget that. It's interest and all that. Okay, let me just share my screen and start. So that I don't take much of our time. So let me do this one. Okay, so I did a little presentation, a little PowerPoint, right? So can you see my screen? I'll put it this down. Can you see my screen? Okay. So today we're talking about a healthy marriage and healthy relationships, right? Healthy marriages. I think I'll have to mute you when I need questions. You will mute yourself. So a healthy relationship, right, is the one that leads to a healthy marriage. So we're just here. We are all adults. I believe all of us are adults. So and this topic is not new to us. This life is not new to us. We're just going to remind ourselves, right, what we can do to make sure that we are not in a place that is making us to decay. We're in a place that is making us to grow. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead. Now, what is a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship? So a healthy marriage and a healthy relationship is where partners respect each other. Or, if it's a relationship, maybe family or friends, they respect one another. That there are more than one person. They are not talking down on each other or one another. They're not making themselves feel worthless, right? They build each other. They're not using their past mistakes or weaknesses against themselves, right? Somebody can come and tell you, somebody you are close to, that the person has, you know the person's weaknesses, right? So maybe any smart thing happen, hey, that is the way you behaved at that time. That is the way you do this. That is that one and that one. They value and treasure one another, right? They protect, they defend. Even the Bible said, love covereth a multitude of sins. So that's what that thing means. Love covereth a multitude of sins. It means that you know that this person is weak in this area. You're able to forgive and cover up, but not the one that wants to delete you or unalive you. They are sincere. They keep their words. They are all sincere. When they say something, they mean it. they share one another's burden according to their capacities, right? So everybody has something to offer in any kind of relationship. Everybody has something to offer. So it shouldn't be one-sided. Just collect. You don't give back. So they share one another's burden. They bear one another's burden, and that's what the Bible also says. Welcome, Mr. Benjamin. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome. Yeah. So now love is actually present. I put word love towards the end because it's supposed to be a giving, right? It's supposed to be a giving. So love is actually present in those kind of relationships. Any kind of relation that somebody that is in your space, there should be some kind of love. Sometimes, depending on, it must not be romantic love. If it's romantic love, we know what it's going to. But even if it's family, friendship, you should be able to love that person. Then loyalty and support is there. You shouldn't go about tearing your somebody you are in any kind of relationship down behind their back. Here that he's swimming, you this one, don't mind that. Meanwhile, you are somebody that is supposed to be in a relationship with the person, but behind that person, you are destroying that person. If you find out such things, you're not in a healthy relationship. So there should be loyalty and support, bearing one another. Now that we've discussed what is healthy relations, then what is the other one, the unhealthy one? Is simply toxic, is acidic, right? There are signs and patterns. It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be sexual, it could be financial. The physical one is easy to identify. Somebody hitting, the other person. It's very easy to identify. But the one that is very damaging and not easy to identify is the emotional and psychological one. And it has eaten deep. It has destroyed and even killed some people. Osinachi in church is one of the very widely known one in Nigeria, right? So we're going to, towards the next slide, I'm going to explain better. So physical is identifiable, they hit and, destroy the person. That is easy to identify. But the emotional one, if people are not careful, they'll think, oh, it's normal. Society will even mess you up and say, oh, this is that. Oh, you need to forbear. No, what you're supposed to endure is the issues of life, problems of life, not your partner, not in any kind of relationship. You're enduring that person, manipulating you, gaslighting you, telling lies against you. That's what happened to Samson in the Bible, right? He did not know how to get out of that toxic relationship, and that made him to commit suicide. In this world of today, it's also happening. Somebody was communicating with his enemies and telling his secrets to his enemies, and still come back and manipulate him. Oh, you don't love me enough. Oh, a lot of they are called narcissists. So it happens these days, and it's very, very damaging. It can lead to that person, the victim, to their death. Just like Samson, they plucked his eyes. He went and committed suicide in church, in their synagogue. But she was not beating him. So somebody can say, oh, if there's no beating, stay there. No, it's not supposed to be like that. Okay, now I want to put out 5 main signs of toxicity you should get out from. And we are going to, for Christians, all of us here are Christians. For Christians, I'm going to also, sometimes in church, they also manipulate people. You will not know what you are going through, but you are just there drowning. You don't know. So that kind of person that is manipulating you is always looking out for your enemies. If you think you don't have enemies, you have enemies. You have people that don't want your good. That person, if it's a marital relationship, the person is always looking out for your enemies and going to befriend them. Because the person is looking for how to pull you down. Remember Delilah. Delilah was in constant contact with Samson's enemies, people that want to kill him, destroy him. Judas in the Bible. Judas is the one that betrayed Jesus, right? He was in constant contact with people that want to destroy Jesus. So that's how these people manipulate. That's how, I'm going to meet you, Benjamin. So that's how these people manipulate people. You will not know. So anybody that is in constant, that is always looking out for people that don't like you and always want to communicate with them, always being good, you understand, being good. you should be very careful with that person, even if that person is your spouse. I don't care. Then they lie about everything. Ordinary, oh, I want to go to buy tomatoes at the gate. They will tell you, I want to buy onions. Because it's in their nature. The devil is a liar and the father of all lies. It's in their nature. You don't even need to lie that you went to go and buy onions. But because they're always hiding, they're always looking out for, oh, who knows what this person wants to do. But you're in a relationship with that person, right? They're always lying about almost everything. Even things that are not relevant, they want to lie about it. They are playing games. They're hiding everything. Then they gaslight you. I put that gaslighting in red. When somebody is gaslighting you, the person wants to turn away attention from your realities. Lies are involved in gaslighting. When something happens, the person can't turn it around and say, no, you are thinking about, trying to confuse you. In fact, you might not even, if you don't know how these things work, you might start thinking the lie that you are being told is the real thing. For people that are in that toxic marriage, the spouse you might be a very beautiful woman or a handsome guy. The person will be telling you are ugly, this and that, and because you love the person, you will start looking at yourself. Maybe I'm ugly. Trying to make your realities confuse you and turn your realities upside down. It's a very people that do it are very crafty in it, and that is their career. So they have all the time to gaslight, to gather people to lie against, to go behind you, tell a lot of lies just to roll you in the mud, right? Remember, you are being the one sincere with them, but they are not sincere with you. Then they are cheating without repentance. Before now, it's men that used to cheat, but these days, women also cheat. They cheat on you. They are not ready to change. They are going in a cycle. Sometimes some people apologize, some don't apologize. Hey, what is it? Is it especially? I'm sorry to say, but in Nigeria, especially the men are the ones that are more of the men. They say more women cheat, but I don't know. More of the men is what we'll see. So cheating without repentance. A lot of diseases are outside. So nobody should tolerate all that, except the person is willing to repent, right? The person is cursing you out. Ugly, ashawo, slut, uzuzuru woke, poor man, calling you names. In a marriage, you should nurture each other, not calling each other names. When you get angry, there's a way to handle your anger. You can keep quiet. You can tell the person, sit down, communicate. I don't like this thing you've done. There are some lines you don't cross. You're not supposed to be in a place. Look at Mohbad. I'm sorry to say, that guy was surrounded by enemies. Even his wife, I don't know details, but there's a video that came out. The man, he was suspecting, if you want to kill me. No, you shouldn't be in a place where you are suspecting your spouse wants to kill you. You should get out of that place. If not, one day it will happen. If there's suspicion, if your mind is telling you something is going on, then believe your mind. Separate first, then watch things, do investigations. You're not supposed to be there and say you are loving somebody that you are suspicious. Remember Samson and Delilah. People might say that Samson is idiot, he's stupid. It's not stupid though. He didn't have all this information. If you see the way because they love bomb you, these partners, they love bomb you. If you see the way they come and cry, oh, you don't want to look at Delilah, oh, you don't want to tell me the truth, you don't love me anymore, blah, blah, blah. Meanwhile, you've tried her before, she brought your enemies. That guy, he wasn't stupid, he didn't just have the right information. I used that thing to write a book. She brought your enemies the first time, second time, third time, fourth time. It was after the second time he would have divorced that woman and he would have fulfilled purpose. Yes, he would have fulfilled purpose, but he didn't have the right one. He was just being a good guy, a good husband that is loving his wife. So she was manipulating him, gaslighting him, love bombing him, doing all that, and at the end of the day, he ended his life and he didn't fulfill purpose. And if it is in the New Testament Bible, we believe anybody that commits suicide is not going to heaven. Now, the big one is laying hands on you. There are some men know that their women also beat. Then the more gender-based violence is tilted against women. But that one shouldn't even be mentioned. That one is in the open for everyone to see. But number 1 to 4, emotional and psychological abuse, are also as damaging, if not more damaging, than physical abuse. Physical abuse, you can run away from it, but this other one, it's just layered. You won't be able to know what is going on except you have the right information. Now, so how does it work? So there is physical violence, there is sexual violence, there is, so it goes into coercion and threats. Sometimes they threaten you. They are going to, some people that can't afford to take care of themselves, they can tell the women, especially the women, oh, I used to have a friend, the husband that time, every time he stopped her from working, she's not working. So power and control. He made sure that she was not working, so she didn't have money. The car is in his name. So any small thing the woman would do, he would take the car, take her checkbooks. So she used to run to me that time to give her money. I said, which kind? He's rich, oh. So that's how he controls her. I said, go and look for a job. Go and look for a job. I always say such when they come to me, go and look for a job. Even if it's 50,000 they're paying you, look for a job so that to be able to have a mind of your own. So they use coercion. Delilah was using coercion on subtle coercion on Samson. The devil too, the snake in the Bible, was used coercion on Eve. He came as a snake, very subtle. The snake, if you see a snake, if not that we know that snakes are dangerous, the way it's moving, it's very gentle now. It looks so gentle. You will not even know what is going on until they now want to attack. That's how this narcissist, that's how this unhealthy, toxic people behave. Sometimes they look very gentle on the outside. Even outsiders, when you even mention it, they will never believe such things happened inside. So that's the way the snake is. Until the snake wants to, they are very gentle, some of them. Because if not that they are gentle, people wouldn't have got together with them in the first place. Then some of them also use intimidation. There are some that are really intimidating. It's mainly the sexual and the physical abuse that can be intimidating. Then the emotional abuse is very subtle too, Then gender privileges. All of us know that men have some gender privileges. So, but how do you use it? Jesus said, if you want to be a leader, be the servants, right? You wash your servants with the way he did. So you don't use your privileges against the one you're supposed to love. Then economic abuse. We always tell women, make sure you make your own money. Then for people that are already in marriage already, sometimes women are the ones that do this one. They use the children against the man. So you should note all those things and make sure you don't fall prey and continue to be in subjugation of this toxicity. Then minimizing, denying, and blaming. This is gaslighting. Oh, sometimes some people beat their spouses. The one I've handled, one guy was using iron everything on the wife. He was like, hey, what is it? Is it this small beating? What are you talking about? Hey, he American mother. So they minimize the impact of what they are doing. Sometimes they deny. At a time when the thing reach police and they blame the victim, you blame the victim. Some people will see people that they raped. You say, oh, the person dressed this way. Hello. It's because the woman was talking, divorce her and go your way. If the woman was just talking it to you anyhow, you didn't do anything, then why? So the person that is at the receiving end, you don't blame the person. So these people, when they find themselves doing those toxic behaviors, showing those toxic behaviors to their partners, they minimize the impact, they deny, they blame them, they lie against them. So that's how these things work. Okay, so let me go to... Now, let's watch one video about a Nigerian report. Let me minimize this and I'll go to... There's a Nigerian report. Let's just watch it. Okay. Sorry, let me start afresh. Can you guys hear it now? Can you hear it? You can hear it, right? Can you hear it?
Welcome to Gist Nigeria from the BBC and Channels TV. We will bring you stories making the rounds on social media. I'm Ajoke Hulotse. Let's start with our top story this week. Today,
so this is an example of
is attaining perhaps
physical violence
proportion in Nigeria.
Beautiful
From
girl.
lifestyles, acid bath, gunshot to more violent attacks. Many lives have been lost, and those lucky to survive are left with physical and mental scars. In this report, Gist Nigeria's Wale Fakile tells the story of Joy Ndubweze, who was shot by an ex-fiancé. He also spoke to experts to understand what goes on in the mind of an abuser. Please be advised that some viewers may find portions of this story disturbing.
at her before this thing happened to her. So look at her. She was beautiful. So I'm gonna go, there are other examples that will come up.
And continue to be victims. In February 2014, a youth pastor, Akolade Arowolu, was sentenced to death for killing his banker wife. A lawyer, Hiwandi Oyediro, was in November 2017 convicted of manslaughter by High Court sitting in Oyo State.
Examples.
Fast forward to March 2019, the High Court sitting in Ikeja sentenced Leko Shunde to death by hanging for beating his wife to death at their Egbeda Lagos residence. And in January 2020, Miriam Sanda, a nursing mother, was found guilty of killing her husband and was sentenced to death by hanging in Abuja.
This one,
Most
a man.
recently, one Anthony Ibiama allegedly beat his pregnant wife to coma. He reportedly went to the hospital where she was being resuscitated and removed the oxygen mask. The woman died, and Ibiama has since been arrested. These cases are reflective of just how massive the problem is. There's cause of other unreported.
Okay, so at this point, I just want to highlight some Nigerian cases, right? It happens. And before these things get to this point, there would have been signs, just like it happened to Samson. But sometimes society wants to make people, forgive, give another chance, and all sorts of things that they will tell people. So it happens everywhere. So both men and women. So everyone should be, and also tell their children to be careful, right? Now, the next slide is showing how this cycle continues. This cycle continues. It never ends. I don't know. It never ends. Okay, so you see tension builds up. Remember, in the beginning, they are love bombing the person they are in contact with, and there will be an incident. Maybe family members will go beg, those kind of things. There's reconciliation. Then there is honeymoon. That's why some people talk about make-up sex. Hey, I pity the person. The day it will strike finally. They said there's one man that was, had a python as a pet. So he was feeding the python fat. The python will always come and sleep by the side, trying to give warmth. Maybe one will call her Joala those days, So try to give warmth. He's just trying to watch to see. They say he will come round the man. He's trying to watch and see when it will finally strike, whether it's able to swallow the human. The one day, that is the honeymoon. They think it's honeymoon. It always go in a cycle. So the day he now swallowed the man, it was like a dream. Okay, so that's the cycle. That's why some people stay back, because they always, see themselves in that cycle. Then why do people even get into such relationships in the first place? It'd be like, if you know this person will kill you, or this person was going to destroy you like this, why did you even get into it? People don't know, because remember, some of them are very gentle, looking so gentle on the outside. They do what they call love bomb. They show them so much love. They show their victims so much love, but they have something ulterior motive, or they are naturally not good people. So they layer their main aim and character. Again, Delilah is a typical example. Delilah was sent by his enemies. He didn't know. She was coming to take care of him, cook for him, do everything. Everything a normal person will do, they will be, but they are watching out for when they want to strike. So these toxic people, they get attracted to beautiful, hardworking people to cover up their own inadequacies. Remember Samson? Samson was very hardworking and strong. So they look out for people that will cover up their inadequacies and look for how to finally destroy them. So their victim sometimes might be a target. Again, Samson was a target for his enemies, so they planted that woman there. So sometimes some people get in contact with these people, because they see the people, maybe they are rich, so they want to get their family out of poverty or other disadvantages. So they just, they just hook themselves with these people. So remember, the only sincere person is one person in the relationship, one person, and believe the lies of the other person and fell for the manipulation. So that's why these people, nobody will see such thing and go into it. These people don't, they disguise themselves. Now, but if you watch closely, for people that you have seen, and if there's a lot of research that's gone into it. If you watch closely, you'll be able to identify the signs. But most times people are naive, and remember, the other person is a sincere person, so always telling the truth, always being open. So they believe the other person was, it is the same like them. So now they don't compliment you. What I mean by they don't compliment you is not that they don't give you compliments or say, oh, you're beautiful, you're that. That's how they get them in the first place. But they don't complete you. That's what I mean. They don't complete you. When you do one thing, they too, they want to do one thing. Even a Facebook post, you might post something, they too, they want to post something. The person is in subtle competition with you. Or maybe you get a new job in it. The person will be like, no, this job, are you going to leave me and go to do that job? Just try to use something. Just be in competition. You will know that this person is competing with you. Then they have an excessive need to control. There's no compromise with these people. Maybe even the point of, the person probably wants to do something that is good. Maybe the person wants to go and learn a trade or go to school or something. They want to be the one to be in charge. We have seen people that, that inherited some things, maybe some gold, some mines, some money, some whatever, land. You see this person say, let us sell it and go and use it and buy this. Or let us, trying to control the other person so much. Not that you will not have a compromise between you and your spouse, right? Or between you and whatever relationship you are into. But it should be both ways. It shouldn't be, one person trying to exert control every time and too much of maybe trying to break that person. If you watch closely, that person is trying to break you. Yeah, they are not willing to make compromises. They may be hiding you in the relationship. Maybe they don't tell the people close to them about them. Maybe they are two-timing. They are, cheating on themselves. They don't even want to let people know about them. They're always out to receive more than they give. The person is always receive. To give is problem. So they are eager to talk you out of your identity and goals. Your dreams and aspirations. They want to talk you out of it, because they have complex issues. So they feel if you get to that level, they won't be able to control you anymore. So they want to always talk you out of it. Maybe you got a job. Those people. I've even heard where some people told somebody that if you want to go and do nothing, you're going to start flirting. If it's not in your nature, why will you flirt? So they don't want them people to reach their goals. Then they always compare you with others. Look at your fellow woman. He's always cooking this and that. Look at your fellow man. All your fellow men are always buying car for their wives or their person. What are you buying? They're always comparing you to others. Then they try to isolate you so that you are totally dependent on them. They will always, people that have helped you in life, that have been there for you, they look for ways to tell you bad things about them. Try to always complain about them. So that after some time, maybe you start fighting with those people and you are now totally dependent on them. Then they will now launch their attack on you. So also watch out for how people close to them value or treat you and their response to it. Like if it's a marriage relationship, you introduce your spouse to your family, they don't even respect the person, they don't value the person, and him or her too also does not stop all those things. It's also like, maybe you should just try and behave. The person, people close to them, he or she is telling them trash about you to them. That's why they're treating you like that. And if he's not ready to stop all that, try. Now, so what do? We are all Christians. There's a quotation that people throw out in churches. God hates divorce. Malachi 2:16. That's how Osinachi do until they kill her inside. If you read that quotation very well, that's 2:16. Even if you read the whole chapter, you understand everything. But if you even read that that verse. It says God hates divorce and violence and people who treat their wives treacherously. So but people don't quote the B part, they only quote the A part. Then what does treachery mean? Treachery means betrayal, lack of trust, deception. If you are cheating on your spouse, you are deceiving them. If you are betraying them, maybe something they told you in trust, you go and tell others. You shouldn't be there. Remember Samson and Delilah. She was deceptive. She didn't have his trust. She was betraying him. He would have left that relationship at the second betrayal. He would have been safe. So that's what God hates that one more than, oh, you are putting away. Now, so what this is a topic that is that is dear to my heart. So what I tell people at that time, when I see that this person is just being deceived, just being messed up and being damaged, get out while you can. Separate from that person. And that's what I also tell my kids. Separate from that person. I'll tell them, right, these signs, how to notice, how to get the red flags from the beginning. But if by mistake the person finds we couldn't catch it and the person is there, get out when you can. Right? If there is a change, if they can pray and there's a change, then they can continue. But if there is no change, then that cycle is going to damage the person. The person can never reach their potential. It's just like you being in you are on a one-way road. Somebody in front of you, maybe the maximum speed limit there is 100 or 110. Somebody in front of you is driving at 40, like a basically driving at 40. You cannot cross the person. You cannot, unless you have to change lane. So that's how your progress is going to be hampered. It's going to be, it's going to be, there's a cap on your progress until you get out of that situation. That is the way it is. You cannot be in the same car with somebody and you're driving at 110, the other person is driving at 40. You are in the same car, the person is limiting you. So that's why I gave this topic as healthy relationships, a pathway to your prosperous living. If you're in a toxic place, you just be fighting that toxicity. The person is just limiting you, trying to destroy you. You cannot move forward. All right. So in Bible self, in the Bible, Matthew 19:9 has talked about if there is marital infidelity, the person is not bound. Then 1 Corinthians 7:15 talks about abandonment. If there is abandonment, then you are not bound. Okay. So we've seen some people, mostly men, that have abandoned their spouses, travel abroad or go to some place, abandon the woman and the kids, and you say some people in some churches they'll tell them to keep praying. You don't know what this person has abandoned you. Even by law, you are meant to move forward. Okay. Then you can remarry if you want. Then make better choices and fulfill your destiny and purpose. Don't die like Samson. Samson died without fulfilling purpose and he committed suicide. So he would have been regretting his acts, at that point. So, and let nobody be a statistics. Now, this is a statistics that is by, I think, by United Nations or something. So these are gender-based violence. So family violence, female victims, this one's on block rates, about 500 for every 100,000 population. These are family violence. Then for male victims, is this one about 200 for every 100,000 population as at 2021. Then the highest one is it's also intimate partner. These family ones could be brothers and sisters and whoever. Then this intimate partner violence for women is 550 for every 100,000 as at 2021. So let nobody end up or their children end up as these statistics. Now let me also play one other video. Excuse me. About the video about emotional abuse. Okay. Let me take this one. Okay, so let's listen a little bit. So she was in an emotional abusive relationship with her father.
You're so stupid. You're lucky you have me. Nobody else would ever want you. Oh, shut up. Don't give me that look. You don't know how good you have it. You suck at that. You're never going to amount to anything. Don't you know how much I love you? Abuse can be obvious. It can leave bruises. Abuse can also be less obvious and leave only internal pain and suffering. Whether physical or psychological, abuse is a form of bullying that undermines a person's self-esteem, tears families apart, and takes lives. Domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women in the U.S. Every day, in this country alone, more than 3 women are murdered by their partners or loved ones. Almost half of all men and women in the U.S. have experienced psychological abuse by an intimate partner. Many experience it on a daily basis. When people think of domestic violence or relationship abuse, they often think of the stereotypes that go along with it. The truth is, no one is immune to domestic violence. It can affect anyone, no matter what race, gender, socioeconomic background, level of education, religion, or sexual orientation. It is also important to remember that domestic violence is not just physical abuse. In fact, today I'm going to focus on the types of abuse that occur the most, yet are the least talked about: psychological and verbal abuse. I grew up in a house with my mother, father, and 3 siblings. I grew up in an unsafe house. In a house filled with yelling, cursing, and pain. It is really difficult to describe the way my father hurt my family. He had a way to make us feel worthless. He knew each of our weaknesses and imperfections and always found a time to point them out. Although my father was not physically abusive, we feared him. Whenever I stood up for myself or my family, he would corner me in my room and spew such anger and hatred that I feared for my life. One of the most difficult parts of living with an abuser is the unpredictability. Some days we would be like a normal family. Sometimes he would go for weeks without lashing out at us. It gave us all such false hope. But of course, someone would say something that he didn't like, or do something that he perceived as wrong, or listen to music when he didn't want to listen to it, or even laugh too much, and he would go off again. It was like this ticking time bomb ready to explode at any moment. Then he would make us feel guilty, as if we had really done something so awful to upset him like that, as if we deserved the things he said and the names he called us, as if we deserved the humiliation and the shame. He would control us and our thoughts. And after growing up with his voice inside my head at all times, I started to believe that the things he said were true. I started to believe that I was ugly, fat, stupid, worthless, and never going to amount to anything. It's been 2 years since my mom gained the courage to leave him. I finally have a safe, positive, loving house to come home to, with no one telling us our feelings are invalid, No one telling us to turn down our music when we are singing and dancing in the... Nobody deserves to live this way.
Yeah.
And yet, many of you might be in a situation similar to the one I was in.
Just trying to point out the issue of, right, gender-based, that kind of emotional abuse, and the ones that people don't talk about. So these people make their people they're in a relationship with, sometimes their children, sometimes their partners, feel worthless. Sometimes society or family, extended family will tell the victims, no, it's part of marriage. Marriage is not easy. Life is not easy itself. A marriage that is not supposed to be easy is from the outside, not from the inside. You shouldn't be having the trouble from the inside. It should be from outside. Then you need to be together and fight life, right? Make sure you're able to defeat the challenges that come your way, not your partner now being the weapon fashioned against you. It's not supposed to be like that. People are not supposed to curse out each other, So these people, they don't behave like that every day. Sometimes they're not able to regulate their emotions. Any little thing, they go into that kind of rage. It can be subtle, like I said. Like even this lady has said now, her father used to tell them, and look at this beautiful woman, this beautiful lady. The father was telling her that she's ugly, she's fat. And before long, because they loved and respect those people, they might start believing it. Just like there's this saying, and everybody knows that. They say a horse or a camel, when you put it in a plastic, rope the leg with the plastic when it's growing up. When it grows up, it wouldn't believe that it could kick that plastic away and move. It still believes that, oh, this plastic is keeping it together, right? Until one day when he wakes up and knows his value, just like the human, they recognize that, oh no, I'm not like this. This person wants to just put me down. Okay, so that's all I have to say today. And so thank you for listening, and that's all I have to say. Thank you. So do we have any questions we need to discuss? Do you have anything you need to chip in, or any question you have for me? We can now unmute and ask the questions. Thank you.